Hello and welcome to the Ilene Silverman Show. I'm your host Ilene, and on this week's program, our guests discuss SWAG, Southwest Advocacy Group, a nonprofit grassroots organization that is improving the lives of residents in the Southwest Tower Road corridor. Stay with us. We'll be right back. Welcome back. Thanks for joining us for our program. SWAG, Southwest Advocacy Group, is a unique community partnership that continues to positively impact the underserved population of Southwest Gainesville. To tell us more, I'm pleased to introduce my guests, Dorothy Benson and Dorothy Thomas, co-chairs of SWAG. And I'm delighted to have you both here, two Dorothys.
Thank you.
And there is so much positive that SWAG is doing for our community that I'm truly honored that you're here to represent this group. And I know you share much more than the name Dorothy. You share your passion for SWAG, your sense of volunteerism, and I know that is joined by the many people that make this possible. And when did you first get involved, Dorothy?
I first learned about the area and got involved in 2008.
Okay. And then you moved away, came back? Or,
I did. I
yeah.
was the founding chair of SWAG, and then in 2013, 2012, I moved to Kentucky for 2 years, and I've been back about a year and a half.
Good. And you're back right where you left off.
That's right.
Except that a lot was happening in your absence, and enter Dorothy Thomas.
Yes.
When did you get involved?
I got involved right around the time that she moved away. I've been working with SWAG for about a little less than 4 years.
Okay. Well, you were there at the beginning, Dorothy. So kind of give us a little overview. Like, what is SWAG? How do you describe it in a sense?
Well, it's an all-volunteer grassroots organization. It's community-based, and it started with a group of women that got together and decided that they wanted to bring resources and opportunity and address some disparities in Southwest Gainesville.
All right. And this area we're talking about, it kind of give us a few parameters.
Sure. It is just west of I-75, and then it's Tower Road and I-75 are the two sides, and then Southwest 24th to the south and up to behind Home Depot.
All right.
Just geographically.
Okay. And you talk about disparities. So the population that lives there, the families, the faces, the people.
Absolutely. I first saw maps, density maps that Dr. Hart at the University of Florida created, and she got addresses, and she was able to pinpoint addresses on a map, and it showed that there were a large concentration of babies born underweight and a large concentration of Medicaid births. And it made me think that we didn't have a health clinic out in that area. And these mothers were not getting access to prenatal care. And that made me want to leave my neighborhood and try and bring resources to the area.
To make a difference, which
Yes.
you've done, definitely. Well, everyone has.
Everyone has.
Because what are the different components right now of SWAG when we say Southwest Advocacy Group? You have a family resource center.
Yes, we have the SWAG Family Resource Center that provides support for families with a food pantry, emergency food pantry. We do after school tutoring. We have so many different services for families. We have a job board that we keep updated. We do resume, help people with resumes and online job searches. We do a summer program for the kids called RAP. It's Retain, Apply, and Play, so that they don't lose what they learned during the school year and they go back ready to learn.
Right. And I know there's many more areas.
The Resource Center was our first major project. After that was completed, we began work on a health clinic. We have a full-service health clinic right across the street from the Resource Center. It has a adult health component, a child health component, and also a full-service dental component, which makes it really unique.
Wow.
It's pretty exciting.
It is. It is.
The health clinic is seeing almost 500 patients a month. And our third part of our vision is a future child center. We're going to have an early learning center right in the same area where the resource center and the clinic will be located to serve our kids age 0 to 5, starting in about a year.
Wow. So goals for what's ahead and what you're currently doing. And but tell me a little about the people that and what drew you to this knowledge. And Dr. Nancy Hart, who's well known in this community,
Yes.
who you've spoken of.
Mm-hmm.
When I was reading about that, I saw the parallel, if you would point to this, that Sheriff Sadie Darnell also saw in those maps.
Absolutely. So it might surprise others that there were health disparities and crime issues in that area, but not the professionals that run the organizations that look after families and children. Sheriff Darnell was coming at it from a law enforcement crime prevention standpoint. Dr. Hart was looking at it in terms of health disparities. We had Partnership for Strong Families who handle the foster care system. And so all of those different groups were coming from different areas, and in the same time we had matriarchs, most of them grandmothers in the community itself, that were putting their arms around young mothers and their children. And then you had the outside neighbors from just down the road that once we all got together and learned about each other's efforts in the community, that's when SWAG really formed and our efforts really took off.
Because you could see how together you're stronger than apart.
Absolutely.
And can really make the difference you've continued to do.
Yes.
And there's so much more we have to discuss. We're going to take just a quick break. Stay with us. We'll be right back. We're back discussing SWAG, Southwest Advocacy Group. And Dorothy, we were talking about how this all evolved, people getting together, what you saw. Tell me some of the first things that led to the evolution of SWAG.
Well, as we mentioned before, SWAG is really a partnership between lots of different groups, and the most important part of the group is the residents that live within the community. And so to make sure that their voice was heard loud and clear as we began to form our vision of what SWAG would be, the members at the time went literally door to door throughout the neighborhoods in the SWAG area and asked residents, what do you need? What resources are you missing? What can we do to empower your family and your community? And overwhelmingly, the responses focused on programming for their children, resources for their children, a way to access the services that were scattered throughout Alachua County but were not accessible in the neighborhoods. And that began to form a vision of a resource center located in the neighborhoods. It eventually became the SWAG Family Resource Center, a resource center for families.
But answering the needs of the very people there. What now? Were they sometimes disbelieving that you were there at their door asking what they needed?
I think everyone was a little surprised at the beginning that we were actually able to accomplish what we set out to do. I think this was a big vision, and some people probably doubted us, but the way we did it and the way we have done all of our projects is we've tried to create a plan before we came to any of the groups to ask for help. So Dorothy Benson and Joan Canton and a lot of the other people that were there at the beginning sat down and pulled together the partnerships and the resources, and then went and talked to the county commission about helping us. They didn't say do it for us, they said do it with us.
Right.
And I think that because they had already done the legwork, it came together quickly and better than anyone had expected.
And everyone knew it could come to pass because you had done that legwork. And so it truly is a collaboration. You've said before that the county commission has been instrumental many times, as a lot of partners. And what are one of your main partners for the Family Resource Center?
Absolutely, the county commissioners have been epic in their support, and because we have put together the partnerships and the to allow them to leverage their public funds in public-private partnerships. So the county commissioners bought 2 buildings for us and boarded one up for the future clinic. We worked to raise the money to finish the renovation on the SWAG Family Resource Center, and Partnership for Strong Families, who handles the foster care system in our area of Florida, actually is the day-to-day operating partner.
Okay, to keep it going.
Yes.
Right. But behind those doors, so much goes on.
Yes.
And you've increased. Tell us some of that. First the playground that you added.
Yes. So the community already had a lot that had been used as a dumping area. We cleaned that up, and we went to a Tower Hill Insurance Group who gave us the seed money to start raising the money for the playground, and other entities and private individuals donated, and then the county took over ownership of the county park so that we wouldn't have the liability. SWAG is an advocacy group. We're all volunteers.
Right.
And so when Partnership runs the resource center, they have 2 full-time employees. Everything else in the center is run by volunteers.
By volunteers. It
Absolutely.
is incredible. Because what are the hours that you're open at the resource center?
They vary from day to day and season
Okay.
to season. They're mostly 9 to 5 type hours, but
Right.
there's a little variation depending on
Right.
the day and depending on the season.
Right.
Um,
And what are some of the, so you would refer people? Give us the vision of it. If
So,
I walk through the door, what would I see
I like
happening?
to think of the resource center as a clearinghouse for services. So we
Okay.
partner with different agencies. We have people who come in and provide notary service. We have people who come in and provide codes assistance. We have Meridian Healthcare or mental
Right.
health services come in and provide services. We provide everything from concrete needs up to various resiliency and family functioning tools. You can get anything from stuff out of the clothing closet in the food pantry to come and attend a class about how you set a budget and how you make yourself more financially resilient.
Right. So you're handling immediate needs, but you're helping people think ahead and move forward in their lives
Right.
for the better.
For every person that comes in for a concrete need, we try and link them to other services. A perfect example is a recent event that we have every year, backpacks, back to school backpacks
Right.
for kids. Historically, we had always provided some sort of backpack, but as we've grown and as we thought about the programming, we wanted to connect the kids to bigger services. So rather than just handing out a backpack and people going on their way, we partnered with the health department to provide vaccinations and school physicals. We partnered with all of the schools that our children feed into to
Right.
have teachers and guidance counselors there to register kids for school and make
So
sure
they
they
met
were
them
ready.
right there.
Absolutely. So the parents got to meet the family. I mean, the teachers got to meet
Right.
the families, and the families got to meet the teachers. This is really important for our community because 70% of our residents don't have cars. And so it is a big process to go and get your kid registered and get your kid to the doctor.
I mean, it's enough just getting there day to day.
Absolutely.
But this is outstanding. And we're going to take another quick break, but we have much more to talk about. Stay with us. We'll be right back. We're talking about SWAG and the Family Resource Center. And Dorothy, share with us some of the goals that the Family Resource Center has for the families that it serves.
Sure. One of our main objectives is to give families a hand up, not just a handout. And one of the other large goals that we have is to support families and children. When families are in a stressful time,
Right.
if they can get the services that they need or access an emergency food pantry in order to make it through the month, children are in a calmer situation. They're safer. It's better
Right.
for the whole family unit.
And I mean, one would just think that just makes sense, but people get into the trap of their life situation, and it's hard to get pulled out of that.
Yes.
That's where you're offering that hand up.
Absolutely. And we actually have evidence that it works.
Please share that too.
Partnership for Strong Families, they were able to update maps that Dr. Hart did back in 2008, and the Casey Foundation helped them do new maps, and we found that there is a 45% reduction in verified child maltreatment in the 32607 area around the SWAG Family Resource Center. Partnership has actually seen a reduction around all of their resource centers,
Right.
but SWAG's is 45%.
That's wonderful.
It's amazing,
It really is,
isn't it?
isn't it? Yes,
It
that
is.
is a good figure. And counterpart to the resource center is the health clinic. I mean, we value good health, and what if we didn't have access to what we do? And there you have
access
it.
is kind of the key word that you mentioned there. Prior to the creation of Southwest Health Clinic, there really was not adequate access to health care in the SWAG neighborhoods. About 70% of our people do not have cars, and to get to the health department at that time, it took 3 buses and almost 2 hours each direction. So just to get to the doctor's office was a 2-hour process,
Right.
not a pleasant 2-hour process.
Not
I may
feeling
add.
well, usually having children with
Absolutely.
you, taking them out of school, taking off from work, And as you mentioned, you have to change buses, so you have to wait in between. It could be hot or raining or cold, or your child needs a
Absolutely.
diaper change or hungry, or the whole thing's so grim you just can't go.
It's just
difficult.
not worth going. And so we found that the community was suffering from large disparities in health care. I think that it was fair to say that not many people were using routine preventative health care in the same way that they should be using it. And we hope that the clinic is bringing this to their neighborhoods so that people can use it for stuff like diabetes management, hypertension, to prevent these big problems from occurring.
Beforehand.
The health department did some modeling before we created the clinic, and they found that there were 3,700 avoidable ER visits every year from that area that would have been prevented with routine care.
Right.
And it wasn't because people didn't want to get routine care, it's because they couldn't get to it.
They just don't
so-
have the word access.
Exactly. And so transportation was one of the biggest obstacles. So we have taken that barrier away from the people that live in the neighborhood. They can walk to the clinic.
And cost.
And can I quickly add,
Yes,
anyone in
jump in.
Alachua County can actually make an appointment and use that health clinic. It's much closer to people that live out, say, in Newberry or
You're right.
Archer. They
So
can
that
make an
is an
appointment.
opportunity.
And it is the only health department dental clinic as well.
Right.
And I should have mentioned the operating partner at the Southwest
Right.
Health Clinic is the Alachua County Health Department. And so our clinic is run the same way the main health department is run. So any services that you receive there, you can also receive at the clinic.
At the clinic.
Yes.
So that's the counterpart. And you have received numerous, well, you partner with so many people in this community to make
Yes.
this happen.
Yes.
And Rotary twice
Yes.
has made sure that you received benefit from the Wild Game
We are
Feast.
so grateful. We've won the Wild Game Feast grant, Rotary's big fundraiser of the year 2 times. The first time they completely furnished our Family Resource Center, and the second time they made a huge donation toward the renovation of the health clinic.
Right. And others that you partner with.
One of the things that I always say is if you look at our donor wall in the clinic, you will never find such an amazing
Oh.
network of people.
Yes.
It's everything from local bars. Satchel's Pizza provided our pavement. Infinite Energy contributed. We have tons of private and business donors that have all come together to help us make this happen.
And there are many reasons why people are drawn to it. First of all the money given or all the donations go to what it's intended for. Because you're volunteer driven.
Almost 100% of it
Right.
goes directly back into the community and the programs at the Resource Center.
And I think that is something that speaks to the success of SWAG. And of course, you can always use more donations. So this is an encouragement for the whole community to get behind what you're doing. And we're going to talk more about what is ahead for SWAG. Stay with us. We'll be right back. We're talking about Southwest Advocacy Group and what next for SWAG. You've got things in the future.
Our big project that's on the horizon is the Child Center. We're going to be creating an early learning center for kids 0 to 5 and their families. Obviously, you can't help a child without helping their families. We realized that as we were providing the programming at the Resource Center and at the health clinic, there were a number of programs that the families wanted to participate in, but that they weren't able to because they didn't have a safe place to leave their child while they were participating in education or improvement programs or even looking for jobs.
Right.
And we realized there was this vicious cycle. You can't get a better job or increase your education if you don't have someplace to leave your children,
Right.
and you can't pay to leave your children somewhere if you don't have a good job or an
You're just
education.
stuck in a cycle.
It's a vicious cycle. And so we began to pull together some ideas for a child center. And luckily, we were able to cross paths with the folks at Baby Gator and at UF's Anita Zucker Center. And we have been able to create a plan to partner with both of those organizations to bring an early learning center to the SWAG community.
I mean, this is just outstanding. And wait, I know Women's Giving Circle is right there backing you up.
Women's Giving Circle has been a huge part of it. We were able to win a grant this year for them for $50,000. We have been able to facilitate matching funds from various folks affiliated with the University of Florida. So if we raise $200,000, we will be able to draw down a $400,000 match. We are almost there. We have about $40,000 left. And we have big
So
plans.
call to action for the
Absolutely.
community. Paul,
Absolutely.
yes, we need you.
We have big plans to take this broader even than just the SWAG community.
Your whole
Yeah.
the whole idea of modeling and letting other people see what is taking
Yes.
place.
Yes.
Yes.
We've been very lucky. We have CPPI helping us with this. They have put together a team of excellent professionals from site planning and everything related to the site work. And we are beginning to move forward on an idea of a model demonstration center.
That will be useful to the entire community and beyond.
That's where the real ripple effect is.
Exactly.
If the Anita Zucker Center for Excellence in Early Childhood Studies professors help oversee it with Baby Gator, and we model best practices for child care providers throughout Alachua County, then they can take those best practices back to their
Right.
own child care centers and elevate quality of care for children all throughout Alachua County.
And that's the larger picture you both see.
It will even impact our schools, because when children get to kindergarten and they're not ready to learn, they're already behind. Many don't catch up. And so when we can prepare more children to be ready to learn when they hit kindergarten, the teachers are going to have a much easier time, much less remedial work, not as many retentions. We hope down the road, we fully expect to see in 5 or 10 or 15 or 20 years that even the public schools will begin to see a real savings. And it ties right in with the Children's Services Council that our county commissioners has recently established and is putting funding for prenatal to 5, and that's where the biggest gap is in our cradle to career continuum of care for children in Alachua County. So
And
we're filling that gap.
Right, because where that gap is so important to the success of every child and back into their family.
That's where so much early brain development occurs. 85% of a child's brain development actually occurs before the age of 5.
So we have, and you see the bigger picture.
Yes.
So does everyone at SWAG.
You can't wait until they get into kindergarten.
No.
It's so exciting to think that we can empower parents to be their children's first teacher in a way that
Exactly.
they've never been able to before. It's an amazing
To
family
give
dynamic.
that to them, to see it happen as it should be, and rightly so, but many just don't have the tools, and you were going to provide that.
Absolutely.
And then the fact that you can go beyond. I just congratulate both of you, and certainly all the volunteers at SWAG, for all you're doing for this community and all of us, because we are all part of this community together. As you are helping Southwest, it empowers everyone in the community to
We
move
have an
forward.
amazing community, and we couldn't do it without our partners.
Absolutely.
Well said. Thank you so much.
Thank you for having us.
My pleasure. And I'm so glad that you tuned in, and I hope you'll join us next week. Take care.